This is SportsCenter.
On this season's first SportsCenter, North Star opens the season with St. John and a rivalry matchup. Then North Star becomes road warriors as they make the long trip to Mohall, followed by another region game on the road against Four Winds. And just days after Augusta decides to allow women to join their ranks, NHSPN decides to do the same as we welcome our first female host of SportsCenter. It's all on SportsCenter. Right now! Hi, welcome to the first edition of Bearcats SportsCenter for the 2012 season. I'm Daniel Grande along with Brooks Larson. We've got a whole new anchor team this year, and we've got many new things that we're introducing this season. But let's get started with last year's 9-man runner-up football team.
The first game of the season for the Bearcats saw them take on the Woodchucks of St. John. This is always a heated rivalry that is usually a highly competitive game. However, this time around, the Bearcats took the early lead and never looked back.
Colving makes his presence felt by using his tall stature to block a punt early on in the game. He then tracks the ball down to assure that the Bearcats get possession. On the ensuing drive, the Bearcats use a little play action as Hagler finds Colton Braun, who sees nothing but green grass in front of him, and takes it in for a 65-yard Bearcat touchdown, which gives the Bearcats an early 14-0 lead. Once again, it's Colton Braun who takes the handoff this time and runs right up the middle as the big boys up front open a huge hole, which allows Colton to break a couple tackles and take this one all the way to the house for his second of 3 touchdowns on the night. The Bearcats scored in a variety of ways in this game. This time, Alex Weston takes a 5-yard hitch, makes a great move, and kicks into high gear and goes the distance for a Bearcat touchdown. The Bearcats used a balanced attack on offense, throwing and rushing for nearly 500 yards of total offense. On defense, Grande led the team with 11 tackles, and Colving added 2 sacks to his team-leading total. North Star dominated this game from the beginning, as the score was 44-6 at halftime. The Bearcats moved to 1-0 and have a great start to their season.
The next game saw the Bearcats traveling to Mohall to take on the Mavericks. A salty ground game and a hard-nosed defense were the stories of this game. The Bearcats fly around and create confusion for the opponent's offense. Here, 7 of the 9 Bearcat players on the field are surrounding the ball carrier. It is important to keep the defense on its toes and throw an unexpected play at them every now and then. A little play-action pass to Brooks will do just fine, and he knows what to do with it after he gets it. In the second quarter, those linebackers want no part of Colton in that hole, as he bounces off those would-be tacklers, has one man to beat, but is just too dang strong and cannot be brought down as he reaches the end zone. 3rd and long, and the Bearcats decide to go to the air. Hagler finds Grande for the 3rd down conversion along the Bearcat sideline, moving the chains. Look at how fast Aaron Bergdahl flies to the ball carrier. Amazing! After dancing in the end zone for a bit, he takes down the runner for a safety and his first points of his varsity football career. Brooks led the defense against Mohall with 15 total tackles, while Colton Braun did work on the ground.
The Bearcats pitched a shutout in this one and didn't allow a single Maverick touchdown. The Bearcat coaches were pleased with the game, but also saw room for improvement.
And now we introduce the first female anchor person in NHSPN history. Like every SportsCenter host, Jessica Teubner is a sports fanatic, and hopefully she will pave the way for more female anchors in the future.
Thanks, guys. After the big victory over the Mavericks, the Bearcats went to face off against the Four Winds Indians in Fort Totten. This game saw the Bearcats take an early lead, and needless to say, they never looked back. The Bearcats dominated on defense to start the game as they gave up only 13 total yards going into the 4th quarter. Here, Daniel Grande strips the ball and Ryan Solseth, also known as DeVos, recovers it, giving North Star possession. On the ensuing drive, North Star punches it in as Hagler finds Grande for his first of 2 touchdowns of the night. Later in the game, Hagler finds Colton Braun on a seam route as Colton catches it and piles up the yak yards with his team leading 115 yards receiving. Right before half, the Bearcats use play action to spring free Brooks Larson as he catches the delivery from Hagler and uses fancy footwork down the sidelines to get it to the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the night. Here, Jarendal takes the pitch and cuts it up the middle as he is rumbling and stumbling through Four Winds tacklers, taking it to the 2-yard line, where he is finally wrestled down from behind. The Bearcats ended the game with 431 total yards of offense. For the first time this season, Jake Hagler passed for over 300 yards. On the defensive end, Larson finished the game with 6 tackles and 5 assists. And now back to the anchor desk.
That's it for this edition of SportsCenter. Check back in a couple of weeks as we will be covering the first few home volleyball games as well as the Surrey football game. On behalf of Daniel Grande, I'm Larson. Stay classy, North Star Nation.